Hey, what's up? It's Comic95, the Savior, and for this video, I want to talk kind of about a video that I made in the past about why the turnover rate is so high with English teachers, but I want to kind of talk about that in a little more detail, but more so from a different perspective after obviously having more experience living and working in Japan. But I find it very interesting that despite how high the turnover rate is, with teachers being unhappy being here and commonly either quitting before the end of their contract or not wanting to renew after 1 to 2 years of teaching here, it's like schools have no interest in listening to teachers' complaints, even schools that are run by foreigners who were once teachers themselves. And I've started to learn, especially after just recently starting a new job, that they don't even realize like their problems. So like one of the first things that crossed my mind during my interview, so mind you, I give advice on how to ace interviews. I already knew what to say to get the job, which is why I got it. But as they were talking to me, I noticed that their questions are really asking me, how can I, assimilate, so to speak? How can I fit and mold myself to be like the Japanese people that I'm working with, instead of asking how can the Japanese staff, better accommodate me as their boss. Basically, you're my assistant, so I am not the type of person that you will work with and you'll feel like you're under me. I always treat everyone like they're above me or my equal at the very least. I'm someone that is totally fine with compromising. I want everyone to be happy. I hate a hostile environment, and I try to think from my perspective. How would I feel if my boss was a jerk and very opinionated and wanted things done a very particular way? So even if I disagree, I try to give people that freedom. And of course, I phrase this totally different, and I pretty much said this during the interview, which of course they liked my answer, because that's what Japan wants their people to be like. They want you to be a robotic zombie that has no opinion, no say, and that you just go along and follow whatever everyone else is doing. That you're a peacemaker, not a crap starter. And so while I do understand that, and I understand, of course, cultural differences, I can respect that, what I don't get is why, as an international school, as an English language company, you're not trying to fix your problem with your turnover rate and maintain your teachers by doing simple things for them, such as being understanding about their wants for, vacation days, or wants to have their holidays with their family, or wants to have a little more control in their classroom, etc. Why not just give them these things? Why is everything for you as the employer about us trying to mold and shape and be Japanese? Fake these personalities, fake not caring and being a slave to our job, etc. And again, I'm a workaholic. I am a naturally conservative person, so I don't find myself having to change how I feel, think, or talk. But I can understand for people that aren't necessarily like me. And so again, this isn't about trying to make everyone happy per se, but your company is making their money off of the fact that they have foreign teachers. That's why people are here. Of course, you can learn English from a native fluent Japanese person, or from a Japanese person that just speaks English very well. Maybe they have an accent. If your goal is just to learn English, there's plenty of other choices. There are people here that aren't native speakers that will teach you English for $5 and $4 an hour that are desperate for money. Like, you don't need us. Your business is special because you specialize in not just any foreigner, but specifically foreigners that are native English speakers. And while not all of us have, qualifications and degrees and certificates, a lot of us do. And so I feel like if these schools would listen to what we have to say, listen to our ideas and our changes, and of course not everybody can be right, but to try to at least make the environment more welcoming and more accommodating to their individual teachers, they would maintain more of their staff. So I feel like the biggest problem isn't teachers that don't understand Japanese culture, that can't assimilate, but rather schools that aren't willing to make their teachers feel at home, to make them feel like they have authority, like they have control, like they have power. As a teacher, you can't get everything your way. You are working for a company and for the students and the parents, and it is a business because you're at a private school, so you do need to understand that. And even for ALTs, it's still a business. It's an English business. You're really a dispatch worker. You don't directly work for that school. So I understand from that perspective too, but if you make your teachers happy, if they feel happy, they feel like they have power, they have control, they're being heard, they will stay longer. A lot of people don't come to Japan with the expectation of only being here for 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. A lot of people don't come into a job thinking that they're only going to work it for 1 year. They want to renew their contract, but they hate it. They're miserable. They don't like their life. They don't like their job, and you're not helping. So I don't understand why these employers won't take the knowledge and information that they've been given and say, hey, maybe we're wrong. Maybe we should listen to our staff. Maybe we should honor their 10 vacation days. It's just little things like that that you can easily do to make people happy. Like, I don't understand why that can't be done. Like, it's such a simple thing to do. It's not asking for a lot. It's not ridiculous. It's not going to cost you anything. I don't see why that can't be done, why they can't do that, why they can't, try to meet you halfway. They want you to meet them as a Japanese staff. They want you to meet them 100%, be completely selfless, this total team player, but I've never seen anyone ever, like, try to encourage the Japanese staff to assimilate and to be welcoming and accommodating to you. They expect for you to go and reach in and grab them and pull them into your circle and make them feel welcome, make them feel at home. That should be their job. Your job should be to welcome me. I'm in your country. And so that's where it's actually used in reverse. It's this is Japan, this is our country. So I feel like schools speak out of both sides of their mouth. They tell the parents this is an international environment, it's international school. Hey, look at our American teachers. But then on the flip side of that, you have them, telling the staff, well, we're in Japan, so we need to be mindful of Japanese people and we need to be mindful of Japanese culture. And they're thinking, and even those comments, like I said this during my interview, I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised I got my job. But I, of course, again, said it professionally. But I was saying, I hate that that's even associated with their culture, so to speak, or with their race. Being conservative, being modest, being mindful, being someone that's willing to compromise, a team player, someone that can work with the group, is not a trait that a particular race has. They've been culturally taught to do this, but it is not exclusive to them. So for example, me being conservative, that's seen as, oh, you're so Japanese. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that. Or people assume that, like, I'm half or that I've been born here or something like that. And it's like, no, I come from a Christian family. I have manners. I'm a good person. I know about your culture. I respect it. It has nothing to do with me being here. I've always been this way. I've always been a shy person. This is just me being me. And I honestly feel insulted. It's supposed to be a compliment, but really, you telling me that you're, worried or concerned about me getting along with your staff is insulting. Your focus is in the wrong place if you're trying to keep your Japanese assistants or Japanese staff happier than you are trying to focus on keeping your foreign staff happy. Again, your school is making their money because of the foreign teachers. So your Japanese staff, they're literally the most replaceable people in the school. Parents don't care what Japanese person is doing the translating or changing the diapers or cleaning the floor or whatever little side task they're doing. They care about what country the teacher is from. They care about if the teacher is qualified or not. They care about the teacher's experience, their degree, their certificates. It's not easy to find teachers here that are qualified to be teachers. It's hard to find just people here in general that can teach, that are foreigners, that are native speakers. So when you burn bridges, make employees unhappy, and you favor Japanese staff that have no real degree, no experience, just babysitting tasks that are replaceable, when you value them more by taking their word and listening to them and ignoring your foreign staff, the people that are making you money, that is beyond stupid. Here we are teaching classes of 20 to 30 students that are paying $700, $800 a month. and you can't even pay your teachers more than $2,000, all the money that you're making. And so sure, in the long run, I guess you're making money that way. For you, it's worth it to keep hiring more and more teachers, but you would really make your school stand out, like the few schools here that do pay a lot, that pay their teachers what they're worth. Your school stands out. It's more prestigious. People want to attend that school because they have good teachers that love their job. If you pay your teachers what they're worth, they will stay. You listen to your teachers, they will stay. I don't see why it's so hard to give people the vacation time that they ask for. The vacation time that you promised them, really. To give them the pay that they've earned and deserve. They're just simple things. You don't have to ignore and neglect your Japanese staff, but you do have to realize that as an international environment, your goal should be to accommodate your international teachers, not your Japanese staff. They should be the ones being the host. It shouldn't be the foreign teacher's job to make the Japanese staff feel comfortable or to try to fit into their clique. They should be the ones trying to fit into yours. You are technically their boss. So it just really drives me crazy. I don't understand why something so simple can't be resolved. And again, of course, they'll quit their job anyway. People will find reasons not to like their work. It's inevitable. But you retain so many more teachers if you listen to them, gave them the vacation time that they wanted, and encourage the Japanese staff to assimilate and accommodate your foreign staff and not just keep the focus on foreign staff fitting in, being Japanese and doing whatever. And even that, like, those are backhanded and insulting comments. I can't say compliments, but comments. Well, of course, there are some cultural differences and some things that foreigners do find hard to get used to. It's insulting to assume that we're just stubborn and can't work together. Why is it that the blame is on us? Why can't you say that the Japanese staff is stubborn and not willing to work together? They also cannot assimilate. They also struggle to get used to doing things the American way. So I get it, we're in their country, but what kind of school is this again? That's right, it's an international school. What are you bragging about? You're bragging to everyone that your teacher is a native English speaker and that this is an American environment and they're going to learn so much about the UK and about Australia or whatever, but you completely shut off any type of creativity that your teacher wants to bring into the classroom. You don't set up an environment amongst coworkers where it's fair, it's 50-50 or 80-20 or whatever, where we are the ones where our culture is being taken into consideration, our lifestyle, our wants, our needs in the workplace that are reasonable are not being followed or considered, and the Japanese staff is not being encouraged to be considerate and thoughtful of us. You can work with nice Japanese people, but 9 times out of 10, it's because they've chosen to be this way. Not because someone said, hey, you need to assimilate and be nice to the foreign staff so that they'll stay. They never think like that, and I really don't like that. And I hope that one day when I do open up my own school, I want that to be one of my biggest focuses. Like I said, you can never make everyone happy. Some people will hate their job anyway and will quit. Some people will only last in Japan for a year because they get homesick, get divorced, whatever. But as a school, you should do what you can to retain your teachers. It's the least you can do.